What's up, guys? Today we're going to be revisiting Samsung's S21 series and answering some common questions that I get all the time in the comments about these phones. We got the FE, the regular S21, the S21 Plus, and the Ultra model here. And the S21 Ultra, one of my all-time favorite phones. Extremely comfortable for the size of this phone. And yeah, all of these phones are really cheap, so a lot of people outside of the US are always interested in these phones. I do have like individual videos on these phones. I think I need to make an updated video for one of these phones. It might be the S21. But yeah, let's go ahead and just talk about these phones. The main question, will these phones get One UI 7? So the answer is yes, they will get One UI 7, all of these phones. The S21 FE actually will get up to Android 16. Now, it'll be the last majorOS update for the rest of these phones. So it's kind of unfortunate, but the good thing about the One UI 7 update is it's going to be a big update because it's a big visual overhaul. So it'll make your phone feel a lot newer, a lot fresher. There's a ton of little features in One UI. They probably won't add any more AI features, because the only thing we got really is a circle to search on these S21 phones, which is fine. But yeah, they probably won't add any of those features, but you'll still get the visual overhaul stuff and all the rest of the little stuff. Now, design-wise, the S21 series still looks pretty good. It doesn't really look that far off from what Samsung is doing right now. It's really just they removed that little cutout that they were doing. But all of these phones are IP68 dust and water resistant, and they all feel really nice to the touch. Very premium looking phones still in 2025, and I don't think they look outdated at all. And these are very comfortable phones to hold, especially like I said, the S21 Ultra. I always say this is a very comfortable phone for such a big phone. The only thing kind of weird about this phone is like the weight distribution is kind of like more at the top, but that's pretty much it. You kind of get used to it, but it's a very nice phone, and it also has pen support too, which is really cool. And these phones are super cheap. Like if you're outside of the country looking for a good flagship phone, only reason I say outside the country because in the US the S22 series is way too close to the S21 series these days. You can find an S20, 2 Plus, S22 Ultra for not too much more these days. But yeah, so overall, the hardware still looks fantastic on the S21 phones. Alright, so I do want to touch on the displays here. Looking at the S21 screens, the coolest thing about these phones is that they have the older Samsung displays, and the older Samsung displays are a lot more vivid than the newer displays that we have in the S24 series and the S25 series. They just have like that really cool, just super vivid colors to them that makes the display really pop. And you can't really get those on the newer displays anymore. Even if you turn the vividness slider up, it just, you just won't get that look. The displays look awesome on these phones. They look really good. All 120 hertz, all very high PPI, very sharp panels here. With the S21 Ultra having the 1440p display, looks great. S21 Ultra, the only, curved panel here, but I think it looks still really good still. It just has that really nice premium feel. The rest of these are flat displays, which Samsung has going back to on their newer phones here. But display-wise, I really love the displays. The only difference, honestly, between these displays and the newer Samsung displays is the LTPO, maybe the anti-reflection coating, and then also I think the difference is probably the max brightness. But besides that, quality-wise, these displays still look really good. Alright, as far as the speed and overall gaming performance of these phones, so the FE is going to do the actual worst, even though it has the Snapdragon AAA processor, simply because it's just not well optimized for stuff like PUBG, and I noticed it across the board, so it's just not as well optimized. But it can still play games at like 60 frames, but the rest of these phones can play at 90 frames. They can play PUBG here at 90 frames, and yeah, it definitely makes a difference. But I would say, guys, the Snapdragon AAA processor is really not my favorite processor, and I can imagine the Exynos version might be worse. Yeah, these phones they're fine for casual gaming, like coming in here playing a match or two, but if you're somebody who plays games for an extended period of time, these phones can kind of heat up a little bit, definitely where it can get a little bit uncomfortable to the touch. And then also, it's going to hit the battery life quite a bit. So the Snapdragon AAA and honestly the 8 Gen 1, like the chip right after this one was even, to me, gets even like warmer. But I never really had any performance problems like PUBG lagging or crashing. But again, I am not like a gamer like that on my phone. That's why I said I'm Attra 2. I don't really notice any issues here. But it's something to be aware of if you are interested in getting an S21 series phone, that these, they do okay with gaming, but it's definitely not going to be the best. If you are more on the casual side, animations are really smooth on all these phones, and the overall user experience is still great. So if you're not like gaming like that, like just opening stuff up is pretty smooth on all these phones. Like your back animations are really good. Coming in and out of applications is fine. Loading into games, it doesn't take like a super long time compared to the newest phones. Like I said, I have comparisons with the S21 phones against the new ones. So overall, like casual performance is fine. Let's check out the speakers on these phones, see what they sound like. Yeah, they all pretty much sound the same, except the Ultra might be a little bit louder when it comes to the bass, but that's pretty much it. They sound decent, so they don't sound bad at all. And as far as the camera experience goes, so the cameras on the S21 series phones are pretty good. They kind of have the same problem that a lot of older flagship phones will have, and that is pretty much in low light photography. You'll start to notice that it might not be as good as some of the newer phones. But in good lighting, like I said, I got tons of comparisons on these phones. In good lighting, these phones do a pretty good job with taking photos. Like the S21 Ultra honestly still can give out a really good photo, very good natural colors as well. And then you also do have some pretty good zoom shots on the S21 Ultra as well. The rest of these do a really good job too, but like I said, you'll notice the difference with the newer phones more so in like low light conditions. But you can get a great shot out of these phones. I think the newer phones probably have better battery life and stuff like that, or not battery life, but they do have better video as well. But yeah, guys, I think the S21 series, it still can take very good shots and still pretty good video if you put enough light to it. But yeah, I don't think the cameras are bad on any of these phones in my opinion. They all take really good shots. Like I've done a lot of updated videos with these phones. They do a pretty good job still. A lot of people are always surprised when they notice that the older phones don't really look that much different from the newer phones in good lighting. You'll see that difference though in lower light for sure, and you'll see the difference in video quality as well sometimes. Unfortunate thing with these phones is that battery life is just kind of okay on these devices, and that even goes for the Ultra model. It's okay if you're a lighter user like me. I did a day in the life with the S21 Ultra. It did a really good job. I took it to CES with me. The battery life was great. I didn't have an issue with it. But for people who are doing more intense stuff on their phone, I'm talking about using a lot of GPS, you may be gaming a little bit and just doing just a little bit more intense stuff. Maybe you're doing some video editing. These phones, you're gonna have to sometimes, if you're doing heavier stuff, probably need a wireless charger pack or something like that. Carry it along with you and you'll be fine. But yeah, the battery life is not crazy impressive on these devices. But just to wrap this up, guys, I really like the S21 series phones, especially like I said, you're out the country, your budget's tight. These are really good phones, and like I said, the Ultra phone is awesome. I really love it. The FE is going to get Android 16, which is really cool. And yeah, you can just kind of pick and choose on what you want with the size and all that when it comes to the S21, the Plus. But like I said, I'm really excited for this One UI 7 update, and we're going to come back and revisit this video and see if these phones have improved in any way with battery life or animations. I'm just really curious about that. Do they get any of the AI features? So I think that'll be really exciting. So do you guys have an S21 series phone? What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.